Hey guys, today we are learning to use patterns to multiply decimals by the powers of 10. So we already know how to multiply by powers of 10 when we're talking about whole numbers. So if I have the whole number 22 and I'm multiplying that by 100, I know that I write down my original number, 22, and I add 2 zeros. So when we're multiplying with decimals, it's the same concept, but we have to move our decimal point as we go. So really what we're looking at in this original problem is 22 is our whole number. We would have a decimal point behind that 22. And when we move our decimal point over 2 places, we replace those with zeros. And that's how we get our answer. So it's very similar. So if I have my standard form of 10, another way to write that is 10 to the first power. So when I'm doing 10.74 times 10 to the first power, this one is telling me how many spots to move my decimal to the right because my number is getting bigger. So I move this decimal one spot and it turns into 27.4. If I have 100, so I have 2 zeros, my exponential form is 10 to the second power because there's 2 zeros. So if I'm doing 2.74 times 10 to the second power, I'm moving my decimal place 2 places to the right. So I move it 1, 2. My decimal point's now here, so I now have the number 274. So we're continuing this pattern. So I'm going to add another 0. So now I'm multiplying by 1,000. So now I have 10 to the third power because I have 3 zeros. So I'm doing 2.74 times 10 to the third power. So I'm moving my decimal 3 places to the right. So 1, 2, 3, and that extra spot I add a 0. So that leaves me 2,740. I now have the number 10,000. So I have 4 zeros, so that's the same as 10 to the fourth power. If I'm taking my number 2.74 times 10 to the fourth power, I'm moving my decimal place over 1, 2, 3, 4. So in this case, I have 2 empty spots, so those turn into zeros. So my answer is going to be 27,400, and that's because I moved my decimal over that 4 spots. So we can use this pattern to multiply decimals as well. The difference is when we're multiplying by decimals, instead of over here when we're multiplying by whole numbers, we were moving to the right. When we start multiplying by decimals, we're now going to move to the left. So if I'm multiplying by 1, you guys know anything times 1 is itself. So 2.74 times 1 is 2.74. I don't have to move anything because I don't have that 0 there. So now I'm doing 0.1. So if I'm doing 2.74 times 0.1, what I'm doing is I'm moving my decimal place 1 place to the right or left because I have 1 0. So I'm going to move my decimal 1 place over, and that means I have 0.274. If I have 0.01, so 2.74 times 0.74, I now have 1, 2 zeros. So I'm going to move my decimal 2 spots. And just like it did up here, any of those empty spots now turn into zeros. So I now have 0.0274. Now I'm doing 0.001, so it's going to be 2.74 times 0.001. So again, I'm trying to figure out how many spots over I'm moving. So 1, 2, 3. So here I'm going to move my decimal over 1, 2, 3. my empty spots turn into zeros. So my answer would be 0.00274. Let me know if you guys have any questions.